We're recording. Yeah. Good morning, folks. Matt here in the Planet. Today, back at the track. I'm just warming up, so let's walk for a bit, so I can talk better to you. So yeah, I've been running for a while. It's been we're getting on for 2 weeks now. We finished Manchester. Didn't get the result I wanted. It's actually 8 minutes off my PR. My target was to run a 3:10. Came back with a 3:30. The PR's 3:22, so not the best day of the races. However, that's okay. I went out with a strategy that was to run the race conservative at the start, so but not too conservative that I wasn't going to make my goal and that I couldn't pick it up in the second half. So I kind of ran out at kind of like 4:35ish is the pace I was going for, somewhere to that, between 4:35 and 4:40, and the idea was to pick that up in the second half and go a little bit quicker, by just after halfway. But already started to slow down, so it just wasn't my day. Last training block went really well, as I was saying, going into the training, going into the marathon race. But it's only when you kind of fail that you can really look back at your training and see what's actually gone wrong. And rightly so, when you're in your training block, you try and convince yourself that you're doing the right thing, and the real results generally from what I wanted to do in training came. Like my track work was probably perfect, really. My track work, I was aiming to run 3 minutes and 10 seconds for my 800s as an average across all the 10 reps each 800s. And I managed to get that down to 3:12, and then I actually got it down to just below 3:10, 3:09 I think it was exactly, just before we went into Manchester, so that was perfect. And then in me threshold runs, where you've seen me do you've been watching the channel, I do long runs of around 40 kilometers every other week, and that's what I did through the last training block. And inside that I have 3 times 10k at kind of marathon goal pace. But the plan in my training block, I think I mentioned it at least once when I was in the training, was to pick that up, because realistically running 40 kilometers, okay, that's roughly a marathon distance. But breaking that down into only doing 3 times 10k at marathon goal pace is good, but because you're running for less time at marathon goal pace, those marathon goal pace times will want to be faster than what your actual marathon goal pace is. So the plan was to get those down to, if not all of the stints, some of the stints, to get them down to 4:20 or 4:15 minutes per kilometre. And to be honest, I didn't do it because I didn't get the weight down. I tried to do the training block again where I was dieting and kind of carb loading, not so much carb loading but taking on carbs for the weekend runs, and it doesn't work. It's for me, it doesn't work. It's very difficult to take on carbs for the day before or the days running up to the hard workout and then diet through the week. Generally I did me dieting as I wanted to, but it just doesn't, for my body, at the age that I'm at, it just doesn't work. I need to spend a lot of time getting the weight down, like I did when I went and run my PR in Manchester last year in 2023. Is get the weight down before I do the training block. So that's what I'm going to work on in this training block. So I'm supposed to recap what I'm going to do in this new training block. I've actually got 2 training blocks now. I'm going to do a training block where I haven't got, over the next 3 months, where I haven't actually got a race booked for the end of it. But I'm going to work on certain things which I'll tell you now. So when I come out and go into the next training block, and go into kind of like the autumn winter marathon, I'll be in good shape and know better what to do. Basically, I'm going to run the same training block as I've run, with a few slight changes or improvements, shall we say. These 40k long runs I'm still doing them. They're here to stay. Every other week kind of thing, but I've now got training in a position where I can do this at the start of the training block. Okay, give us a week or so, maybe 2 weeks before I build me mileage back up after having a couple of weeks off, but we'll be straight into that rather than having to build it up at the start, and I'll be doing the 10k stint straight on, and it won't feel as difficult as it was at the start of the last training block. And then we're going to try and we'll obviously run those at marathon goal pace to start with, but gradually improve those through the training block and get them down to 4:15 minutes per kilometre. By doing that, I need to reduce my body weight, which I'm going to be working on diet. And likewise, and on the other side of it, I'm going to increase my power, so I'm going to be doing more weights on my legs, just working out more in the gym. I don't know if I'm going to go to the gym, but I'm definitely going to do more work on my legs to just build the strength up. Whether it's the same stuff but heavier weights, I don't know yet, but that's something I'm working on in this training block. And that should gradually get me times down. And then obviously every other long run weekend is going to just be an easy pace long run to build an aerobic system. My track stuff is going to come down from what we're doing today, starting today. Really interested to see whether I can run 3 minutes and 10 seconds average. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm wearing the same shoes as the last time I was at the track. Must be what, it's now a good 3 weeks ago now, maybe it's 4. And we're going to try and work hard today, and I'm going to try and run an average 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Let's see where we're at, and just continue on that. I want to improve my track time, if I can, on the 800s from 3 minutes and 10 seconds down to 3 minutes. Let's see what we can do. I'm still hunting for a 3-hour 10 marathon, so I don't really need to go much further past that, but I just want to see some development on the 800s at the track. I really enjoyed monitoring myself through the last training block, using the track as that to see how, you know, I'm improving fitness, definitely on the kind of the speed side of it. Yeah, so that's basically the main points in the training block. Let's just recap quickly again on what I think I failed at in my training block the last time. The weekend before Manchester, so kind of like the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, was it the Friday, Saturday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday? I can't remember exactly what it was now. On the weekend that was before the marathon weekend, so talking like 6 or 7 days beforehand, I did 3 workouts in 3 days. The one was a hyper interval session, although it was reduced down to 3. I think it was 3 stints of hyper intervals. That was pretty aggressive hard work. The next day was a track session where I came to this track. It probably was the Friday that I came to that. And that's when I got it down to 3 minutes and 9 seconds, and that was quite a tough workout, but I didn't feel like I pushed myself ridiculously hard, although it was a hard workout. And then I went down on the Saturday on the quayside and ran a 32 kilometers 1k on 1k off session, and that's pretty tough. I don't normally do three speed sessions in 3 days. Normally I'll spread it out over 5 days, worst case 4 if I have to, sometimes 6. But I just wanted to get that last session in, and already by the Saturday morning I was feeling a bit fatigued, so I switched it from like a progression long run to a 1k on 1k off session. I think it was said 32k, I think it was 25k. But anyway, the working on the last few reps of that was really quite difficult, and I was aware the surface was where I was running. I was having to slow down a bit more than I wanted to between the 1k stints, so I was kind of pausing me watch a little bit on the last few to get past the bridges and the hills, and then run again. But even by doing that, I felt like I really had to work to get that session out of me at the end of it. And maybe I just pushed that a little bit too hard, because if you think I was alternating from doing a 40k long run workout and then the next weekend to just like kind of a 32k long easy pace long run, roughly both of them about 3 hours and 10 minutes or something like that. I was giving myself a break from the hard work every other week, but the weekend running into Manchester I didn't. Part of that was due to the weather, because the weather the week before was ridiculously awful, windy, 50-mile-an-hour winds and stuff, so I was never going to get to do that speed workout. But in hindsight I probably should have left it and not done it. So, and when I was into the taper week, the taper was 10 days, and you could probably say it was actually only a week, because I was working that hard with the speed workout on the end of the last week. In my taper week I was finding that rather than my legs building up freshness, it was building up a little bit. I wasn't really freshening up enough, not worrying about it, just being confident as you would do. But in reality I think I could have been a bit fresher, and I was trying to, I think I only ran like 8k, or only ran 12k, 10k, 8k, something like that in the taper. And I feel like although the taper itself wasn't too difficult, I was still recovering a bit from the speed workouts, so I really want to push that speed work back. So I've got that so I've got 2 weeks from then to 2 weeks in the kind of the back end of the core of the training block to when I start the marathon, although I'll probably still do a 10-day taper. It's just that hard aggressive speed stuff won't be in there in the taper period. Does that make sense? So always good to reflect a bit, not dwell on it too much, I'm not too worried about what happened. It wasn't a case of, oh, what went wrong. I was only 8 minutes off my PR. The conditions were probably a little bit warmer but less wind, so it was, you know, good conditions. It just, for me, I was probably didn't quite squeeze all I wanted to squeeze out the training. The training needs to be improved a little bit, and I didn't get my weight down to what it was. I think I was probably sat there at about 4 kilos maybe heavier than it was when I ran Manchester last year. No excuses for that, is there? So today, just on me warm up now, feeling really good, ready to have this this track session. Just taking a gel because, like you've seen before, a little bit later on in the day. It's not first thing in the morning that I'm down here, so I've been awake for like 6-7 hours. Not too much pressure on today. In fact, there's not really much pressure on anything I do, but in the training block, it's all a hobby, it's all for good fun. But yeah, I just by failing last time at Manchester, I'm even more motivated now to train harder and do it. I mean, when I was running Manchester, I was thinking, in the race, I was thinking, okay, it's not going to plan, but there's still a good chance for me to come back with a PR and a Boston qualifier, you know. That didn't happen, did it? So we're not going to Boston next year. We're although I didn't tell everybody that was my plan, that was, and it wasn't really a main plan. I'm not crazy about going to Boston, but every time I see it on TV, I watch it this year, I watch it on YouTube, I'm just more interested in it, and probably more than I have been any other year. And just in the back of my mind going into Manchester thinking, if I run that time, then I'll qualify for Boston, and then I could go to Boston next year. But obviously that's now going to have to be the year later, if at all that I do go to Boston. So, but wouldn't it be nice to go there at least once? I'll go there 1 year. Right, so that's it. That's an update on my training, a bit of a quick review of what we've done. This training is going to develop, obviously weekly updates and stuff like that as I'm going through, maybe a bit more. I've got a whole host of races that we're going to jump into over the summer. I'm going to jump into a couple of 10Ks. I've never really done 10K races before. In fact, I don't think I have at all. So I'm going to try and break 40 minutes in the 10K this summer. I've got quite a few halves coming up. Some of them aren't booked in yet. I should be at Gateshead next week doing the 10K. Definitely we're at the Great North Run, that's booked in. Definitely we're in Manchester in October for the half. And probably there's at least another 2 half marathons I want to book in there. There's maybe another 10K in there somewhere as well before the summer's out. So that was a quick review of me race in Manchester, how it went, what we did in the training, what was successful, what was not, what we can improve going forward. So I hope that's of all interest to you. Let me know how your training is going, let me know in the comments. Did you run Manchester? What did you get? I know quite a few people did there, and a lot of people got PRs on the day, and there's a couple of people as well that were like me, didn't get everything they wanted out of it, but it's all good stuff, isn't it? You just got to keep enjoying this sport that we do, this running. And yeah, thanks very much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.